Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am so glad to have you guys back around. It has been a crazy month and a half for me. I've been working on a lot of projects, some stuff we're going to go over today, and just share some updates with you. This is going to be a update heavy video for a lot of small things that really weren't worthy of their own video, but we're going to put them into their video all together just to share some really good information with you and give you guys some updates of what's been happening, what's happening now, and what's going to be happening probably in the next month. Just kind of give you some updates on all that. So if you don't like updates, this may not be the video for you, but there is a lot of good information in here. The first thing I kind of want to talk about is I told you guys I was going to be doing an outdoor show, kind of a craft show of sorts with a lot of different stuff going on. And I want to go over my setup, kind of what I spent on that, and give you some ideas on maybe if you're wanting to do a craft show or an outdoor show or something like that, maybe you can draw some inspiration from this. Maybe you can copy my setup directly. Whatever you want to do, whatever you like. But I'm going to give you the details on that first. With this show, all of the spots were 12 by 12 square, and it's just kind of an outdoor show, so it's outside. There's not a lot of shade. You're kind of just out in this field, and they spray paint your spot there on the ground with a number. You go get your packet and you go set up. I bought a couple things I thought would help with this. My spot was a 12 by 12, but I bought a 10 by 10 canopy. My reason for this was I didn't really need the extra room, and those canopies have guide wires coming off the corners, and I just didn't want to encroach on somebody else's spot, especially when I didn't need the space. And if I go to a show that has a 10 by 10 spot, my canopy will also work there. So that's my reasoning for going a little bit smaller on the canopy. I bought my canopy at Walmart. That is one of the cheapest places that I found a decent canopy. It did pretty good with some light wind and stuff. It wasn't like crazy gusts or anything like that, but it did just fine. The canopy was $68, $69, something like that. Not too bad, and that was just an Ozark Trail canopy. Probably not the highest quality, but it did fine for what we were wanting to do. I also bought a 10 by 10 Ozark Trail. It's a canopy wall that goes, I put mine on the back, and it has pockets. It has a bunch of pockets, which is great for putting soft plastics in if you have duplicates of something, or even hard plastics or whatever. If you have duplicates and you just want some extra storage, that's what I did. I used them for extras. So if somebody came up and saw something, I'd be like, hey, if you want more than one of those, I have them in the back. Just let me know and I can grab you something. That way I'm not taking up extra real estate on my table. Another thing that I would recommend is if you're going to a show like that, take you some business cards. These are just our cards from Vistaprint. I just got these in. These are very cheap, and if you haven't ordered from Vistaprint before, you can get a heck of a deal ordering from them for the first time. Just take you some nice cards, maybe a stand to put them on. Another thing that you might consider is getting a banner. I have a 6-foot banner that is just a 6-foot banner. It has my logo on it, and it has just some information, social, stuff like that on it. That way people can see it, and you can hang it up in the back. If you buy a 6-footer, it won't cover the pockets on the canopy either, which is nice. It kind of stays out of the way, and it sits right in the middle. Another thing I would recommend is if you paint hard baits, you may not know it, but Fishmore makes some really awesome boxes. This is a jerkbait box here, and I just put my hard baits in this for display, and it just makes them nice. But if you do use boxes like this, I would recommend keeping them back towards you where they're not such an impulse grab, because these boxes, the hooks sit up underneath the bait where you can't really see it, and a lot of kids just don't know any better, and they want to instinctively just pick something up. So you want to be careful to make sure you kind of keep these where they're a little bit harder to reach. Same thing if you have glides on a stand or anything like that. You might want to make sure that they're not easy to grab. You don't want somebody getting hooked or hurt. You also might want to consider taking like a square card reader if you want to take cards. I took a Cash App QR code and put it in a picture frame. That way people could Cash App me if they wanted, took some change, things like that. All things that you might want to consider. I took 2 totes to take things in and out at night. It just kind of helps move stuff around. I didn't want to leave product there at night. Definitely consider that, and maybe an ice chest if you want some snacks or some drinks. But that is pretty much everything I would recommend on the show setup. And like I said, I'll have a video of this up. You've probably already seen it by now, but just give you some ideas on what it looked like, and maybe you can draw some help from that, and it'll give you some ideas. The next thing I want to talk about is I was just in a Strike King tournament for the month of September. September's pretty tough fishing. You get into that fall weather, stuff starts to change, patterns start to change. You have fish on the bank, you have fish way out deep that don't know what's going on. You live in Oklahoma, the weather's absolutely nuts. The fish have no clue what's happening, and that's September. We managed to pull off a top 10 finish. This is a online nationwide tournament. They do split you into regions. I'm in the central region, which is good because it keeps me out of Texas and out of Florida and out of California, which have huge fish. We don't want to be in those regions if we can. They did put us into the West region too, which includes Arizona, and apparently Arizona has some really good fish because a lot of the top 10s come out of Arizona. Okay, we're going to check that off the list. Another thing that is coming up is we're going to have some new shirts. I've got 2 new designs coming to the store. I'm going to have them in more colors, but for now I've got them in the green with the white logo. I've got one that's designed around a bait caster. It's got a bait cast reel on it. Looks awesome. And I've also got one designed around a crankbait that I've painted personally here in the shop. It looks just like that. I actually built it off of the picture of that bait. And it'll be on the store as well. I'll throw some pictures of those shirts on the screen real quick, but it's going to be just a little bit, maybe a couple days before those make it to the site. So over the last probably 2 weeks, not really a month, probably the last 2 weeks, I've been doing a lot of work on the website. You may have noticed all of the product photos are changing. I'm making things look more professional, going and reworking a bunch of stuff. I just want stuff to look more neat, more nice, more consistent across the whole store. So I've been doing a lot of that. We also have a G-Sauce Lure Co. collection on the store now, which is a good friend of mine out in California that's painting baits. I've used a bunch of his stuff personally. I trust it. So we've been working together on that, and I'm going to move some of his baits through the store. And if you guys want to support him, that is a great way to do it. He is a great guy, and I love working with him. It's just awesome. Another thing that's going to be coming up, which I am very excited for, is we are going to be pouring our own crankbaits. This is a whole new realm to me. I've never done anything like this before, but I found some molds from Follow Forums. If you don't know who Follow Forums is, they're awesome. Check them out. They're out of Australia. They sell some silicone molds that are designed for pouring crankbaits, and the crankbaits they have look amazing. They look just like crawdads. It's just awesome. They're so different. There's nothing like it that I've seen apart from maybe some of the live target stuff looks pretty good. But these just kind of stand out in their own field. With that being said, I got 2 molds. Probably can turn out some decent number of blanks to paint and do some awesome drops on the store with those. I'll try to throw a picture of the mold up on the video, maybe a picture of the mold, a picture of the bait. You can kind of see what's coming. They're coming from Australia. I ordered them a few days ago. I think from what I can tell, it's going to take about 3 weeks to get them to the United States, or maybe even to my door. I don't know if it'll take quite 3 weeks to get them into the States. But I got a tracking number. I can track them. And they've already cleared customs. They're just waiting for international departure. Hopefully it won't take very long. But I've got all that stuff lined up. Maybe in the next month and a week or so, I want some time to test the blanks, make sure they're going to hold up before I sell them to you guys. I do a little bit of R&D basically before I put them on the store, but I'm very excited, and we will have videos of pouring our own crankbaits and even painting them, maybe even a clear coat process on those. I'm also going to be doing some bait drops. This is another thing that is coming up here in the near future. I just painted some Sonic sides with a circuit board bill, which is something I haven't played with before. These are brand new to me. I painted some awesome shad patterns on them, used some 8-bit product in the top coat, give it a nice color shift down the back. And these are going to be in a bait drop, probably happening this week, very soon. For now, just kind of stay tuned for some bait drops because they're going to be happening. I'm hoping that I can do better prices on the bait drops because it's a lot easier to paint multiple baits at a time versus painting 1 or 2, just because you're not having to switch colors so much, and I can just rinse and repeat, and be a lot faster at that. So that's something I wanted to show you guys. Another thing I wanted to show you is I bought my most expensive lure ever. I actually ordered a throwback Metro from Colorado Custom Lures, and I never thought I would pay this much for a bait, but I've wanted a Metro for a long time. And we did that show. I had some extra money left over from that show, so I went ahead and ordered one. and that is this beauty right here. What an awesome bait. The video on that does it absolutely no justice. It's a beauty. This is top drop table rock, chartreuse, and purple, has some scale pattern, black tail, black eye. And this is like one of my most prized possessions. You'll probably never see me throw this, apart from maybe to check the action on it. It's kind of going to be a staple here on the wall. That's a $150 glide bait, so if you do expect me to throw that, it's going to be on a 150-pound braid with a steel leader and a freaking shovel for a pole, because I ain't losing that thing. I will go swimming for that. But that is something I wanted to show you. I do love that bait. It's awesome. The throwback Metros are just such a cool profile. Do I recommend spending that much? Absolutely not. This is a horrible financial decision, but I felt like I earned it after this show, so I went ahead and did it anyways. So we're going to check that off the list. Another thing I wanted to talk about is we put flooring here in the shop. I'll come steal you guys off of the stand, and I'll show you the floor we did in here and some updates we have done here in the shop. All right, here is a little update on the flooring. It's not the flooring I wanted. Lowe's was having all kinds of problems, but regardless, it actually looks pretty good. We laid it ourselves. Me and a buddy of mine laid it one evening. I've also built a shelf up there. I don't know if you can see that. I wanted a shelf to put my Garmin boxes on, and I'm getting a decent collection of baits over here on my extra bait wall. I got a draw, which is something I'm excited to throw here in the spring. I haven't actually thrown the draws, but I got a 9-inch one coming too, regardless of if I have enough confidence to throw it. But that is just some updates there. Not a lot else has changed here in the shop, but I did want to kind of go over a little bit of my setup and some changes that happened. The floor is awesome, though. I would recommend it. I don't really drive my truck in here. I do have a garage door, as you probably saw. I think you could probably drive on this and not kill it, because it is glued to the concrete, but I'm probably going to try to avoid that to the best of my ability. All right, thank you guys so much for sticking around, getting through all of these updates. I'm hoping to be able to do some more stuff, some more giveaways, some more work on the business, on the store, obviously here in the shop, and bring you guys more content, more variety, and just hopefully encompass more of what you guys are interested in. If there's particular videos on something you guys are wanting to see, let me know in the comments, because I'm happy to produce what you guys like, and maybe it'll cause me to branch off and try some new stuff as well. Appreciate you watching. Like and subscribe. It does help the channel out tremendously. Follow me on the socials. Everything is at Lastswimcustoms for the updates on the drops. And I hope to be seeing you guys here in the near future. If you want to buy some awesome molds from Epic Bait Molds, there'll be a link to them in the description, as well as the store. Appreciate you guys so much. And until next time, I will catch you guys in the next video.